My next train that I'm getting today is another boring Bombardier train. These trains don't make any interesting sounds. They're boring. I'm bored just getting on these trains. This is one of those trains that sounds extremely boring. We're finally getting something that even resembles a motor noise from this train. These trains in France just have the most boring motor noise of any train I've ever come across. Because the motor noise, it's like they don't have a proper motor noise, it's so boring. There you can see the monuments in Beaucaire and Tarascon. I think that is Beaucaire Castle. Beaucaire Church. And that industrial area has a tramway which is abandoned. I think it's to take the stuff to the freight loading yards to load it onto freight trains. Like, I mean, here, I think maybe there used to be places like where freight trains would load stuff onto the, like the freight trams would load stuff onto the freight trains. Transfer yards, there used to be here, and that are now abandoned. And then here are some overhead wires. There's lots of plants growing in the tracks, but the overhead wires are still there. Still electrified, but it's just like, it looks like the track's so overgrown that it might not as well be there. Amazingly overgrown. And so, and this kind of transfer track, like to transfer equipment to run the freight tram, and maybe it might need to go to the main depot if it needs repairing. And there's an abandoned house, but I'm sure that like this is the south of France, so houses, so presumably that house will get repaired sometime. Is this Beaucaire? I can't see any station signs. Beaucaire. This shelter sort of looks like something that you might expect to find maybe in Africa. Because I mean, a lot of African railways were actually built by SNCF during the colonial periods, like in Algeria and Mali, and Niger, in northern Africa, and Congo Rive Droite. Like a lot of them, they were built by SNCF. They're no longer run by SNCF, although based on the way they're run, it's not very good. So if SNCF took them over, it might be good. But then it's a third world country, and so I guess they wouldn't really have much money. They have other things to spend their money on, like lots of other things, like well, they're poor countries, like countries like Congo, Rive Droite, and Niger, and Algeria. I definitely think that Algeria, the European Union, should use its money, all the money it's got, to go and build solar panels in Algeria, and then connect it to to Europe using an undersea tunnel. then Algeria would kind of not be part of the EU, but like have a relationship with the EU. And to save money, rather than making separate N and Z signs, based on how that looks, it appears that they just made one sign with the letters N and Z, and if you wanted it to be one or the other, you could put it a different way up, based on the way the signs look. The Z looks like squashed down, squashed vertically. And we're in Tarascon. Let's take a look. Open the doors and take a look. Logistic equipment. Wagon of cantonment. It says logistic equipment, wagon of cantonment. Maybe that's like meaning if they have like if they have to conduct engineering work somewhere remote, then they just get like a wagon where the engineering works teams can then sleep in it while they do the engineering works. Such as if like a bridge collapsed somewhere very remote, they'd use a cantonment wagon, as they call them.